Good morning. Welcome to Daybreak. I'm Brittany Lawfer.
And I'm Alexis Adams. Coming up on Daybreak, find out what new concentration School of Communication students can take. We will learn what changes we have made to our new studio.
And later, we will be joined in the studio with the Globe's editor-in-chief, Kristen Snap.
Daybreak starts right now.
Well, Alexis, you got your wish.
I know. God looked out for me because he knew I wasn't ready for the rain, the cold, the
I
sweaters.
didn't say I wanted rain. I wanted the 60-degree, bundle up in a little blanket.
I'm a
open
summer baby.
windows.
It can stay summer all year round, and I'll be a happy camper.
I wonder if I'm going to get lucky this week. Erin, what do we got?
We still do have some good weather. We're going to start off the week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with partly cloudy, so could be worse, but we aren't going to see any rain yet, with highs in the low 70s and then lows in the upper 50s. Thursday through Sunday, the rest of the week, we're going to see a bunch of sun again, so that is great. Thursday, we're going to see a high of 73, Friday 69, and Saturday is going to be a high of 70, so all about the same with lows in the mid to upper 40s. Sunday, we're going to see sun again with a high of 65 and a low of 50, so you guys can break out those jean jackets and get out to Village Park. Now back to you guys at the couch.
Erin and I have my jean jacket weather, but it's that time of year again where Point Park University clubs meet to request funding from USG. This past Monday was the first meeting where the USG Finance Committee compared each club's initial budget request with the amount that they would be allocated as determined by the Finance Committee. The USG legislative body then voted on it. Over $34,000 was distributed among 36 clubs and organizations, while USG's internal budget of $8,400 brought the total up to $42,757 budgeted.
Point Park University is following suit of a new trend that many other universities have adopted, a test-optional academic application for prospective full-time freshmen interested in enrolling in the fall 2016 semester. Instead of having to apply with the submission of the ACT or SAT test scores, the new freshmen will have the option to opt out by providing additional material. The additional material will be used to evaluate the students based on a list of criteria, including grades, writing samples, letters of recommendation, and a non-academic option, including a portfolio. The hope of this option is to see a broader demographic pool of applications for this coming year.
Also new to the university is a new graphic design program allowing multimedia majors in the School of Communication to concentrate in graphic design. The program features new classes and curriculum to better prepare those students interested in pursuing that career path. The two required courses for the graphic design concentration are graphic design illustration and topography, a course that kicked off last semester with great success. Students interested in adding the concentration can do so by talking to their advisors.
There were some new faces at Point Park University this fall after the university hired 19 full-time faculty members. The professors range in departments from dance to business to literary arts. The new professors were announced on the university website on August 26th. Several of the new faculty have taught at Point Park University before, but they were adjunct professors at that time.
So Alexis, you've heard about the new equipment, and we've kind of played with it a little bit. Virtual set, TriCaster.
It's awesome. It's such a great addition. I'm happy that we have it.
I know, and well, our Point News reporter, Nick Versella, will tell us a little bit more about these changes.
Point Park often prides itself on giving its students hands-on, real-world experience. This semester, new technology, such as the TriCaster 8000 IT switcher, among other new equipment, is giving its students both production and broadcast journalism one step closer to the real world.
Camera 2, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cut the camera 2, open mics, cue talent.
Tonight we will cover the baseball and softball's race to the playoffs.
In previous semesters, all the different U-View shows had been restricted to one standard backdrop and limited effects. But studio supervisor Paul Coatsworth says that's all changing.
Well, we're very excited. We have a brand new complete green screen wall in the studio, which is working with our new switcher that is an IT-based switcher, which is something none of us have ever worked with before. So we're learning as we go. It's a new tech TriCaster, and our old old switcher had 1 effects bank. This one has 8. So it will do considerably more than our old one used to do, and will open up a number of options for students for their own productions.
Now, all of the different UView shows, such as Pioneer Sideline and Entertainment on Point, will have their own customized look.
I think it's great. It gives the students more creativity with our shows. It changes up the studio, makes it a little more high-tech for the newer generation coming in.
School Communication Chair Tom Baggerman hopes the new equipment will give students a competitive edge when searching for jobs.
We continued our philosophy of buying small versions of what you're going to see out in the real world. So the actual switching board operates just like any switcher you're going to find, but the computer back end of the TriCaster will help students be ready to see that at their first job.
It's more marketable, more fun for us to learn something. That's a resume builder right there. I get to say, hey, I can use a TriCaster 8000, I can use a virtual set. That's something that other schools don't have.
Reporting for Point News, I'm Nick Versilla.
Thanks, Nick. You know, that new set makes this whole studio look so much different.
It really does, and I'm still getting used to it. I don't know about you, but it's a long process. Now it's time to send it over to Josh Krupp with National News.
Thanks, Brittany. We begin with national news and international news overseas with the migrant crisis. After Hungarian police closed the Serbia-Hungary border last week, hundreds of people gathered at the closed crossing point in a tense standoff with border police. Hungarian riot police fired tear gas to force away migrants back from the border. Tens of thousands of people have crossed into the Hungary border to enter the European Union's Schengen zone that typically allows people to travel between member countries unrestricted. But the border closure by Hungary police now makes it illegal to enter the country and more difficult for migrants to enter the EU. The BBC says over 625,000 people have applied for asylum in the EU since 2014. And as the U.S. prepares for an upcoming presidential election we'll talk about more in the show later, multiple countries around the world are experiencing changes in power right now. Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott was defeated last week by Malcolm Turnbull, who becomes Australia's 4th Prime Minister since just 2013. Now, in Australia, voters do not directly elect the Prime Minister. He is the leader of the party that holds a majority in Parliament. Abbott lost a late-night party leadership ballot by the centre-left Liberal Party. An Australian Prime Minister hasn't served a full term since 2007. Guatemala is also experiencing a change in power. After months of political turmoil and weeks of protest, President Otto Perez Molina resigned and was jailed on corruption charges. He left office with only 4 days left in his term. In the recent election, no single candidate received enough votes to win outright, but former TV comedian Jimmy Morales, who has never held public office, led in the polls ahead of a wealthy businessman and a former First Lady. A runoff election will occur in October. And finally, on the home front, Americans didn't get a raise last year, just like they haven't in past years. The U.S. Census Bureau reported last week that the median household income is up by only $800 from 2014. Meanwhile, the nation's poverty rate also remained unchanged at 14.8%. It was the 3rd straight year incomes didn't budge following 2 years of declines. Median income is still lower than it was in 2007. Now back to Brittany and Alexa at the couch.
After the break, we will find out more information about the upcoming local elections and how you can register to vote.
And we will be joined by our very own Blaine King and Kyle Anthony to talk more about last week's presidential debate.
We are a social people. We share our inspiration, wisdom, creations, and memories. We share what makes us laugh and what angers us. Built on the notion of a free flow of ideas, our country thrives on the freedom of speech. Without it, who would watch over our governing powers? And how would we share our history to make a difference for the future? It's this freedom to share that gives us a reason to listen.
Start your morning with City News.
Start your morning with campus news.
Start your morning with political coverage.
Start your morning with fun.
Start your morning with us, only on Daybreak.
Did you know that Point Park has a cheerleading squad?
Don't
Don't get it confused. Not only do our cheerleaders represent Point Park at regional and national competitions, but they also promote spirit and awareness of every sports team on campus. Come to any men's or women's varsity basketball game at home to watch the cheerleaders perform at halftime and cheer from the sidelines from the first jump ball to the final buzzer. Sports not your thing? You can catch the cheer team lead the crowd at the fall and spring pep rallies as well, or at several competitions around Pittsburgh each year. So what are you waiting for? Show the Point Park cheerleaders the support they show you.
We know you're wondering what the A-list celebrities are up to.
Well, here at Entertainment on Point, we're wondering too.
Have you heard about James Franco and Seth Rogen's new movie?
No, but have you heard Beyonce's new single?
Did you see what she was wearing on that red carpet?
Honey, that was not cute.
Did you see what happened on Scandal this week?
No, I was too busy keeping up with the Kardashians. No matter what your guilty pleasure is, we've got you covered.
Entertainment on Point. Get to the point of pop culture.
Yeah!
Another Plum High School teacher has been accused of having inappropriate relationships with a student. 19-year-old Michael Cianfrey was a substitute teacher at the high school. According to criminal complaints, Cianfrey would tell the 15-year-old student where he would be so they could meet up. Cianfrey makes the third teacher at the high school being charged with having sexual relations with a student. The Plum School District released a statement saying that officials are, quote, surprised at disappointed at the alleged behavior of a few bad actors among the hundreds of outstanding and dedicated professionals we entrust with our students, end quote. Cianfrey was arraigned Tuesday evening with bail set at $10,000 unsecured. He is charged with 9 counts of sexual abuse, including indecent exposure, selling or furnishing liquor or malt or brewed beverages to a minor, involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, 2 counts of corruption of minors, indecent assault, institutional sexual assault, unlawful contact with a minor, and statutory sexual assault. The investigation is ongoing.
Also being charged with having an inappropriate relationship with a minor is Derek Dawkins. Dawkins is a youth care worker at the Schumann Center and allegedly passed a note to a 16-year-old juvenile at the facility requesting sex. He also questioned her, asking if she was a snitch. He was suspended without pay after the juvenile reported the incident to another staff member. Dawkins is facing several charges, including unlawful contact with a minor, endangering the welfare of a child, corruption of minors, and official oppression.
It has been 1 year since Cameron McClay started as the chief of Pittsburgh Police. McClay started in September 2014, right after a messy scandal with former police chief Nate Harper. McClay says although he is aware of the progress he still has to make, he is happy with the work that has been done so far. McClay wants to promote unity between police and the community and has plans on tackling the issue with gun violence head-on.
With the presidential election now not until next year, many forget that there are still important offices that need to be filled, both locally and nationally.
I was able to talk with Allegheny County Elections Division Manager and get people's opinion on how important it is to vote this upcoming November. For the first time ever, you now can register to vote online. The state is working to make things more convenient for voters, but what I found is despite making it easier to vote, it still may be difficult to get people up to the polls this November. It's simple, it's quick, but will it be enough? It's hard to get voters' attention when these names don't include a presidential candidate.
It's always important because a lot of the important stuff really happens on a local level and a state level.
Because it affects the community where you live in and the places that you go to every day, so it's definitely important on a local level.
But it seems those voters are in the minority. According to the Allegheny County Elections Office, double, sometimes triple the number of voters come out for the presidential elections compared with local races.
So it's not promoted as much for a variety of reasons. Many of the candidates, we have 130 municipalities. You may only represent 500 citizens, where the president represents, 250 million people. So it's just a matter of scale.
This year's elections include mayors, school directors, tax collectors, auditors, and other local offices. The election office is trying to get the word out that these smaller races have a bigger impact on you.
You have nothing to gripe about if you don't vote.
It's a privilege. It's a right.
We'll see if this new online registration option gets more people out on November 3rd. If you still need to sign up, you have until October 5th. Reporting for Point News, I'm Brittany Loffer.
It's time to check on what's happening in the world of sports.
Let's check in with our new sports correspondent, Jess, to find out more.
The San Francisco 49ers recently picked up Australian rugby star Jared Hayne, who is being utilized as a backup running back for the 49ers, along with running back Reggie Bush. Hayne was signed by the 49ers for a $115,000 contract back in March. Hayne was the talk of the preseason with his introduction into the NFL. Recently, Hayne has faced scrutiny from the NFL community for muffing a punt return that was recovered by the Minnesota Vikings last week in their season opener. Facing teams like the Vikings, Steelers, and other opponents should be quite a challenge for the NFL rookie. The Pittsburgh Penguins have had a very successful offseason this year, with plenty to cover with signings and trade pickups. Recently, the Penguins acquired forward Phil Kessel, getting the franchise very excited with the depth they are reaching within their offensive lines. General Manager Jim Rutherford expressed his excitement about Kessel, saying, quote, "When you look at his goal-scoring ability and his speed, that really was the ideal player we were looking for," end quote. Kessel, former forward of the Toronto Maple Leafs, did a fantastic job scoring in the opponent's net. Hopefully he will continue to convert for the Penguins in the same manner this upcoming season. The Pittsburgh Pirates are currently 2 games behind the St. Louis Cardinals to be number 1. They are neck and neck, fighting to the finish to see who is the best of the best in the Central League of Major League Baseball. The Pirates are also competing with the Milwaukee Brewers, the Chicago Cubs, and the Cincinnati Reds. With there only being a few more weeks left in the regular season, anything can happen. Who knows? With the Pirates closing in on the Cardinals with this 2-game deficit, anything can happen. The Buccos have a shot at being number 1. On the other side of the spectrum, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series is heating up the track because 3 drivers are currently tied for first place, meaning they are in the hunt for the Sprint Cup chase. Your current contenders are Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Kyle Busch, and Joey Logano. Joey Logano has been quite the competitor lately, getting first place in 2 of his last 5 Sprint Cup Series races. Currently, he is at 4th place in standing. Kevin Harvick, the winner of the 2014 Sprint Cup Series, is also said to be a top-notch competitor in this series. Who knows? Any driver can surprise us in these upcoming races. That's all I have for sports this week. Now over to Gina DeGiorgio with the entertainment news.
Miss Georgia, Betty Cantrell, was crowned Miss America 2016 despite a bizarre answer to an equally bizarre onstage question. While most contestants fielded questions about politics, she was asked whether or not Tom Brady cheated. During the question round, judge and country singer Brett Eldredge asked Cantrell if she thought New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady cheated. Quote, "If there was question there, then yes, I think he cheated," said Cantrell. "If there was any question to be had, I think that he definitely cheated and that he should have been suspended for that," end quote. According to the Miss America organization's website, the 21-year-old's platform is Healthy Georgia, Strong America. She will receive $50,000 in scholarship money. Miss Mississippi, Hannah Roberts, is the first runner-up. She has won $25,000 in scholarships. It's been 1 week since The View returned with a mostly new panel of co-hosts, and the ABC show is already stirring up controversy. On Monday, the ladies at the roundtable, including Michelle Collins, Joy Behar, Raven Simone, and Paula Ferris, were discussing the recent Miss America pageant, during which, for the talent portion, Miss Colorado Kelly Johnson performed a monologue and discussed her profession as a nurse. Well, the co-hosts were not having it. Quote, "The talent, though, I have to say, the woman who won sang opera, and she was incredible, really good," Collins said. "But then there was a girl who wrote her own monologue, and I was like, turn up the volume. This is going to be amazing. Let's listen." She came out in a nurse's uniform and basically read her emails out loud and shockingly did not win, end quote. "Seriously?" Joy Behar responded, appearing incredibly perplexed. "I swear to God it was hilarious," Collins replied. "Why does she have a doctor's stethoscope on?" Behar asked before Collins clarified. "She helps patients with Alzheimer's, which I know is not funny, but I swear to God you had to see it." Of course, Miss Behar spoke, as the stethoscope isn't just for doctors, nurses wear them too. That's all I have for this entertainment report, and now back to you guys at the couch.
Did you miss last week's Republican presidential debate?
Well, if you did, stay tuned because after the break, we will be discussing all of the action with our political roundtable.
My nose is so itchy.
Here at the Pioneers sideline, we get freshmen involved as quickly as possible so they get the real-world experience on air and behind the scenes to set themselves apart in internships and potential jobs. Blaine, where is that video? I needed it in KeyPro like yesterday.
All right, I got you, Chris. But I had a quick question for you guys.
What do you mean the questions? It's always a question. It's always a... What? Where is he? Blaine!
Blaine!
Play! Freshmen, you can't find any good ones anymore.
Ever wanted to be behind the mic and have the world listening to your show on campus? Well, it's just as simple as joining WPPJ, Point Park's student-run radio station, located on the second floor of Lawrence Hall, right next to the dining services. Listeners can tune in using Point Park's website or through the TuneIn app by searching WPPJ. WPPJ welcomes any new DJs that want to get involved, so be heard. Do you have what it takes?
An expression, a belief, a symbol, freedom to worship, an unspoken word. To express yourself means standing up for what you believe in. There's a freedom to worship and a freedom to live. To speak never saying a word, to love, to let your voice be heard. The light of your own path. For more information, visit www.freedomofspeechpsa.org.
Last Tuesday, the Republican Party held their second presidential debate of the year, this time with the setting being the Reagan National Library in Simi Valley, California. And to find out their winners, losers, and topics discussed, we are now joined in studio by Kyle Anthony and Blaine King. So I'm assuming everyone watched the debate last night?
Yes.
Last week? All right, guys. So Trump, I guess he's a great person to start with.
Trump. Definitely entertaining for sure.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie there.
like they're giving him so much attention. I'm tired of hearing about Trump. Actually,
I will admit, I'm more conservative in my views, and so I usually do pay a little more attention to them. And I didn't know much about the other Republican candidates before this because it's all about Trump.
Yes.
And it's funny because as you mentioned that you said it's all about Trump. At first it was about Jeb Bush because we thought
Another Bush?
Jeb Bush was going to be
and
the
they did
Republican
not let up
nominee.
on him on that all.
Yeah. So I mean it's funny. Donald Trump is leading the polls, and to my surprise, he's actually doing a great job too. He's hitting the bullet points he has to hit. His problem, though, is that he says anything out of his mouth.
So
it's like he
hot-headed.
has no filter.
Well, and I think last night the problem Donald Trump had, I mean, even though he did fire back at some people, was he didn't answer enough questions. They asked him a question about Russia. He's like, well, I'd be able to deal with Vladimir Putin. Jake Tapper, the mediator, asked him a very valid question. How would you deal with him? Why become friends with him? If not, then I'd deal with it. How would you deal with it? How would you become friends?
The question.
He played around the question. And he did that a few other times. I mean,
and I think that, and you make a good point, I think that's because he has no experience in foreign affairs. He says that he has good experience by trading, by making businesses with foreigners overseas, but he just has no idea about foreign affairs because he's not a political person.
That's his answer, to run everything like it's a business.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to do.
I kind of think, in a way, a non-politician might not be a bad thing, but there's other options like Dr. Carson and a few others, but just because maybe we do need rebuilt more of a business standpoint because of money. You think about our financial problems. That's where I kind of think sometimes.
He can be an investor, okay?
Exactly.
Invest. But I don't think I'm ready. He's too emotional at times, and he does have good points. I'll say that. But at times he's just too emotional for me, and I'm worried about, okay, if some country makes you mad, are you going to just declare war because you're upset?
Well, actually, speaking on that point, Alexis, that was the first question posed in debate to Carly Fiorina. They asked her, would you, because she made comments earlier leading up to the debate, would you trust Donald Trump with the nuclear codes? Now, she didn't give a direct answer, but in a quote that the mediator read off, said that she would not trust him because of his temperament. Now, he responded he had the proper temperament because of his business dealings in the past, people overseas. Then he ended up taking a shot at Rand Paul, and Rand Paul kind of responded the way you'd expect. He responded by saying, I wouldn't trust Donald Trump. Look at what he just did. He took a shot at me for no reason. So how can you trust him to have those nuclear codes?
Because he can be a little petty. Long story short, Trump can be a little petty, and you cannot run the country on petty.
Yeah, and that's a true fact right there, too. But you mentioned Carly Fiorina. Excuse me, I pronounced her last name wrong. But she had a great debate last night. She came in as typically the biggest underdog, and she made sure she made the gentleman on stage know who she was and where she stood at. She literally, I'm going to think, she gained a lot of points in the polls. I honestly think that she's going to pass Rand Paul. I think she's going to be right in the middle of the pack now.
Do you think near Jeb's?
Yeah, she's getting closer to Jeb Bush, but Jeb Bush is still going to be a little higher.
Well, I think the thing that helped her is she had a lot of ground to gain since she is coming from the undercard, which is where she was when they had their last debate. But she was able to answer all the points, besides for the Trump question. She made it very personal at times when she needed. She was the only real person with kind of real ideas, real plans, things set in stone. And that's what really helped her in the debate. she didn't really try. She didn't have to attack when she didn't need to, and she kind of laid back when she had to. She had a good plan going in, but I think Jeb Bush kind of did the same thing. He made some very good points, kept it personal, but did what he needed to do.
Now, with Jeff Bush and all that person, they kept blaming everybody else's mistakes on him like he was the one doing it. He's like, I'm my own man. And that's why I feel like they need to stop bringing up what the other Bushes did because he is his own Bush. Like, and essentially, he's his own Bush.
But that would also be his downfall.
Yeah, well.
There's so much more to talk about.
With more than 4 months before the Iowa caucus, I'm sure we will be hearing much more from all of these candidates. Thank you for stopping by, Blaine and Kane. Blaine and Kane. Like, I don't know you guys. Blaine and Kyle.
And after the break, we will be sitting down with the editor-in-chief of the Globe to find out what is going on with another one of Point Park's media outlets.
If you're having trouble with your schoolwork this semester, there's a helpful place on campus that you should know about. On the 7th floor of Lawrence Hall is the Program for Academic Success, which provides services like tutoring and academic counseling. The program's Writing Center is specifically designed to help you with your writing assignments, and you can even get help for them online. Students are encouraged to stop in the office, give a call, or send an email.
Every human being has a purpose, has a dream to have their voices heard, no matter where they come from, no matter where they go. As an American, it is their right to have freedom of speech. I have a dream that one day this message will speak louder than words, that even the quietest voice will not go unnoticed. That is my dream. What is yours? For more information, visit www.freedomofspeechpsa.org.
Now in studio, we have the editor-in-chief of the Globe, Kristen Snap. Welcome, Kristen.
Hi there.
Hey.
So you are the editor-in-chief. How long have you held this position?
This is my second semester as editor-in-chief.
Is that normal?
No, typically it's a one-semester position.
Oh, you were just that great that they had to keep you.
Basically.
Something to be proud of. How do you acquire the position of editor-in-chief?
Towards the end of the semester, the editor-in-chief will pass out applications for the editor-elect, and the editor-elect, you have to apply and you go through a selection board, and you have to go through an interview with Dean Palo and Dr. Halleck and a few other professors and faculty members, and then they make a decision, and then you hear back, and then as editor-elect you train underneath the editor-in-chief, and then after that you just are the chief.
Wow, that's
cool. Like I didn't know it was that deep of a process.
Yeah.
Were you nervous going through this process?
Sort of. It's like a passion of mine, so it's something like I always wanted to get involved with it. It wasn't something that I did just because I felt like no one else was going to do it. I truly did it because I wanted to. So I really enjoy it. It was kind of nerve-wracking at first whenever I was taking over because I changed the layout of the paper and there was just so much new that was coming out, and it was like, oh no. I wasn't sure if anybody was really going to like what was going on with it or the changes that I made or anything like that, but
that was actually, I wanted to know what other changes did you make? Like,
I added a number of positions. The paper used to be a tabloid, which is like a magazine style, and then I made it broadsheet, so it's like a traditional newspaper now.
Which is the purpose of the Globe, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, it's just a campus newspaper.
Yeah.
The content really is no different, but it's just the layout of the paper. I think that it allows for more photos, and I always want to give our photo people a chance to publish their photojournalism as well. And I added some positions, so we're going to be having events planned by our public relations director. I added a social media coordinator and her assistant, and she's Hootsuite verified, so we're hoping to revamp our social media, do some giveaways and things like that.
That's incredible. You're giving so many more people opportunities to get involved.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Now, how long have you been involved with the Globe?
I got involved with the Globe my second semester freshman year.
It's like what? You're a junior now?
Yes.
All right, a couple years.
Yeah.
And who's your editor-elect?
Now it is Josh Crew.
Oh, wow. Our very own Josh Crew. Congrats.
Unofficially, but he's technically right now assistant to the editor, but soon.
Was it hard to pick him, or you were like, yeah,
Well, no,
he's
it's
the
actually,
guy?
we like just hand out the applications. We kind of approached Josh in an emergency situation, and he stepped up for the role.
So he proved himself already.
Yeah.
With Croops Quarter, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, I've read it, Josh. It's a good one. And what are some plans for the Globe this year? Is any big stories you're looking forward to? People you want to meet?
The events you have coming up?
Yeah, we have a Meet the Press event coming up, I believe, on September 24th.
What is that?
It is where journalism professors who want to attend and the Globe staffers and any major, they come and just get to mingle and network, really. See us, because a lot of people see the Globe but don't really know the faces or the people that are behind putting it out there. So that's really our goal, and so we're going to be doing that event. We want to do a Reader's Choice Awards that hopefully students vote on, and Globe readers in general vote on, and then that hopefully will spark into student discounts at local businesses. So I'm trying.
You're going to win everybody with the student discounts.
And then we have an alumni event planned to bring back old Globe editors that graduated long ago, because someone who was the Globe editor in like 1980 reached out to me last year.
Wow.
And he said that he wanted to like meet with us and share horror stories.
Does he like keep up with everything? Does
Well,
he stop in and grab a paper?
No, I don't think he does. I think he lives pretty far away now, but he said that he found all of his paper staff from when he was editor-in-chief via Facebook. And they all got together and they were saying that they should come visit Pittsburgh. And they want to come see the newsroom and everything. As far as other changes, we are moving.
Oh, where to?
Yeah, we are just moving right down the hall, across the hall from where we are right now.
We're in
Lawrence Hall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a bigger space?
It's actually smaller, but it has a window, which means that we can have a window unit. So we're finally getting air conditioning after
no
many
sweating
years.
anymore.
Yeah, it's unbearable up there without it.
Can you tell us a little bit about the process? How long do you when do you have your papers come out? Every Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
Can I see them online too?
Yes. They are online on Tuesdays.
Okay.
So that's a little perk of seeing it online, I guess, is that
okay.
you get it a day early. So we have an editorial board meeting on Sunday nights, and that's just where we plan for the week. And then on Mondays we have our pitch meeting, and we assign stories to writers, and those are due on Friday. And then every Monday night we lay out the paper. We used to start at 6 p.m. and we would be there until 2 a.m. or later.
Oh my goodness.
We just recently moved it back to 3 p.m. so now we're getting out at 10.
Oh, that's more reasonable.
Yeah.
That is a lot of work and a lot of time. With all that time being put into that, can you tell everybody where they can stay up to date with you guys, read and become big fans?
Yeah, we are on every campus newsstand, and we have we're on every campus newsstand. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, pointparkglobe.com, and yeah.
That sounds great. So make sure everyone check out their social media, follow the Globe, pick up a paper, and read their incredible work. They're doing great work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We had a
Thank you for
pleasure
coming.
talking with us.
That is all we have for today. Make sure you tune in next week for another episode of Daybreak.
Have a great week, Point Park, and make sure you check out our other shows that we have on UView. We have Pioneer Sideline, The Catch, and Entertainment on Point. We'll see you then.
Oh, great shows.
Oh, of course. They're a blast.